Back to my channel. Happy World Music Day, first of all. Here it's Fait de la Musique, and I love it. It's one of my favorite holidays. I put it like this because we don't get any day off. If it's not a day off, it's not a real holiday. And after I film this, put it up, I'm going to chat with you guys for a bit, then go outside and celebrate. It's always such a good time. If you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure to, because I will be sharing some videos and photos from Fait de la Musique over there. I just posted a throwback from like when I celebrated in 2020. So check that out. Or you can also sign up for my channel membership where I talk about my day-to-day life, and I will be recapping it there as well. Okay, you guys? Now, let's get into a recap of what went down on last night's episode of Teen Mom Next Chapter. Per usual, I'm watching using Philo, and I've got an affiliate link if you too would love to watch Teen Mom Next Chapter or pretty much any other reality show online using Philo, okay? So the episode kicks off, you guys, with Corey coming to, well, there was other things, but they weren't that interesting. So the most interesting part starts off with Corey coming over to Cheyenne's home. He wants for Ryder to celebrate Christmas with his family up in Michigan, where they're from. And I really did not like his approach to this entire situation. I feel like he was being very fake, and he put Cheyenne on the spot in a very negative way, if the storyline is even real, because something tells me he wouldn't actually behave this way, and they just needed a little bit of drama and tension for the show, right? So basically, this is what irritated me. Corey talks to Cheyenne. He's like, hey, all my family's going to be in Michigan celebrating Christmas. We want to bring Ryder up there. It's 10 days. And I already booked the tickets, basically. It's like, oh, so you did all this booking without even talking to me first? That's really unacceptable, right? When it comes to a child that you guys share. And not only that, but it's not even a last minute thing. The fact that this thing had been planned for months, and he only tells her now when all the Christmas decorations are up and it's already Christmas season and she would have already started planning with Ryder, it was really, truly unfair. I did not like it at all. It wasn't cool. Then when Cheyenne calls out how kind of unfair and weird it is that he would do all of this without telling her or warning her prior, he starts acting like she hogs Ryder. He's like, oh, Ryder's with your family all the time. They see her all the time. Yeah, because they live locally. Duh. It's not like she's taking Ryder to Kansas all the time or something like that. Ryder's family on Cheyenne's side is always there, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that is absolutely wonderful. And she also tells him, listen, it's not my fault or my problem that your family lives in Michigan. And I was completely with her. Just the same way that Corey and his family are going to have to pay for tickets to go up to Michigan to spend time with them, they can go ahead and spend money to come down to California to spend Christmas with him and his family, right? It goes both ways at the end of the day. And another thing that he did that I really did not appreciate was that he told Ryder about this whole thing. He's like, oh, Ryder, we're going to be spending Christmas with my family up in Michigan. So he truly handled this all the way wrong. It was not cool at all, you guys. So we kind of leave things off here. We're going to see what happens with this situation later. Then we head over to Indiana. Unfortunately, Amber, oh my God. Before I even get into Jane's scene, I said, well, unfortunately, we're not going to see Amber and meet her man who ends up ghosting her in the most iconic way possible. In fact, I think I'm going to make a TikTok about that because I'm still stunned by the entire ordeal, right? But Jade, who also lives in Indiana, is giving us the storyline for the state this time. So basically, her daughter, Chloe, has been having issues at school. She's getting bullied, which is really unfortunate. It's just so sad. Kids are so mean. Look how young she is. Look how little she is. How do they start bullying at this age? Why aren't they just so casually let's just play together and stuff like that? What are they bullying her about? I wonder. It really just sucks. One thing that jumped out to me about the scene was that Big Gulp Christy was the one who got the text message about the issues at school. I was like, wait a minute. Why is Big Gulp getting all these messages? Jade is the mom. Sean is the dad. And here's the thing. I was like, okay, well, if Jade was not reachable, or maybe she's not put down as a primary parent because she's the working parent, wouldn't Sean be the next point of contact? Why would Big Gulp be the next point of contact? Did that jump out to anybody too? Especially given the way that she and Jade are always estranged. Their relationship is just so volatile that it's rather odd to me that she would even be put down as a point of contact there. What does Sean do if he's not, all that involved in this stuff? Why wouldn't he be the point of contact? So many questions, so little time. So basically, they decide to pull Chloe out of school for the time being to try homeschooling her, and as they figure out another arrangement for her. And I was like, ooh, good luck homeschooling her, because we all know you two act like you cannot stand that child. So good luck. I just don't see it. And I especially feel bad for Chloe, because their frustrations with her are just so palpable, right? And it's really uncomfortable. And take this, for example. So this is their first scene, their first shot at homeschooling the girl. And Sean sets up some sort of game that he invents to help her with her counting. And it's just not going too well. So Jade tries to take over. She suggests something else. And then Sean feels a little bit upset. He feels a little bit slighted. And then he proposes something else, or he starts doing something. And then Jade, again, she kind of like gets in there. And then he gets all frustrated. He gets up, like he storms off and everything. And per usual, their daughter is around a bunch of screaming, like, emotionally immature adults. I really, truly feel bad for her. Like, wow, I could not imagine, like, oh God, honestly, like, God bless my parents, because my parents never, ever, ever, they were the most patient people ever. They don't yell, they don't scream with each other, with us, nothing. Very quiet people. So when I watch this show as an adult, like, I get stressed at screaming and yelling. It's so foreign to me. So I can't imagine what it is for like an itty bitty person, very, very unfortunate. Now, let's get into Briana Dejesus, who, by the way, donated money. Check out my video on that if you haven't already. But Chris Lopez, Kale Lowry's third baby daddy, has a GoFundMe to help him like fight Kale for custody of the kids. And Brie, she just confirmed, it was just posted on Teen Mom Shade Room, or Teen Mom Fans with a Z, that she confirmed she paid $50 towards this custody battle situation. So here she is, she took $50. Here's what I think she did. She went to the hair salon, and then she paid in cash to get her bob, to get her hair chopped off. And then she took the change and donated it to Chris's GoFundMe. I think that's what it is. They broke $100 bill, and she used the other half for him. I really love this bob on her, you guys. I love a good bob moment. I love it. There's just something so chic, so clean about a bob. She looks great with it. I think she should stick to this hairstyle. So she shows up the new house that she bought, which is further away from her mom. And she opens up about how things are just not going well with her mom. Like, her mom has been very weird all throughout their lives. She's hid a lot of very serious secrets from them. For example, like who Brittany's real dad was. And we found that out on another show. And she's just very weird. She's just very toxic in general. And so she invites her friend Shirley over to talk about some of the mom's erratic behaviors, including trying to fight Brittany in a restaurant and throwing like water on her or something in front of Briana's daughters, which is just wow, like, wow, raggedy AF. Like, what is wrong with that lady, But it's not that shocking, because this is the same woman who, didn't she like get up like on a restaurant booth to like try and fight Devon, who was like a teenager at the time? Like, the woman is like, I'm sorry, but she's ratchet AF, just very weird. And of course, Brianna's not happy about this. I mean, Brittany's not happy about this. She has decided to go no contact with Roxane, which I do think is the best kind of like course of action for this sort of situation and this level of toxicity. Meanwhile, in Tennessee, Macy's son Bentley unfortunately failed his learner's permit test. So Taylor and Macy decide to help him learn to drive. And it's kind of odd, because we just talked about how he failed, but then they're like, oh, like, we're going to allow him to like drive it only if like it's with you, me, your mom, your dad, my mom, my dad, Jen, Larry. And I was like, okay, reasonable. Although I would be scared to be in a car with someone who failed their thing and they're only 15 years old now, right? Like, too young for me, in my opinion. But I digress. And then it all sounds reasonable, the people that are listening. And then she goes, Ryan, my eyes, Ryan Edwards? The guy who had a DUI? The guy who just got arrested for speeding? The guy with a suspended license? You guys really think Bentley would be safe driving in a car with Ryan? Ryan's not even safe driving in a car with Ryan. Are you guys crazy? I don't know what happened to my girl. She used to seem so level-headed, reasonable, and responsible, but the bird is jumping out lately when it comes to Ryan. I'm starting to wonder if Ryan has blackmail material on her, the way she's bending over backwards for him and putting her own child at risk for him. Ryan, the one who nods off every 2 business days and gets arrested for it? Ryan? Okay, very, very weird, but whatever. Now let's go over to LA. Oh, with all the rainy weather in Paris, I would never live in LA, by the way. It's not my vibe. I've been there a couple times. I just didn't like it. But like the weather, like when you see them talking about Christmas and they're just wearing like shirts and stuff and jean jackets, and I'm like, wow, like I need to live in a warmer city. I need to move down south, but I can't find a city I love down here. I'm thinking Montpellier, maybe Provence, but they're not that interesting to me yet. Anyway, so look at these people all outside talking about Christmas. Looking like this. Oh, I was so jealous. And all the sun. It has been so rainy here. I would love to see the sun for more than a couple hours. So Cheyenne is here with her mother, Margaret, venting about the situation with Corey, how he ambushed her with the idea of taking Ryder to Michigan for 10 days to celebrate Christmas there. And so her mom says that the situation is indeed upsetting, but that Corey is a great father and he's rather flexible with Cheyenne when she asks him to pay for those over-the-top, extravagant parties that she throws for Ryder all the time. And at this point, Cheyenne cops an attitude with her mom. Like she got really like, curt with her and everything like that. She started like raising her, she wasn't yelling. She was raising her volume though. And like just speaking over her mom and stuff. Like, I think this is how she wound up with like a chronically unemployed scammer husband. I'm sure her parents warned her against it, but Cheyenne just does not listen. Cheyenne is always right in her world, and she does not like any kind of resistance. Whew. Anyway, she says, you know what? Let me just talk to Ryder about the situation and we'll go from there. So she and Ryder do some sort of a Christmas activity, writing a letter to Santa. And she explains the situation to Ryder. She makes sure that Ryder understands, like, you can't just call and say, I want to go back to my mom. It's not like, me and dad, the way we live here, like close to one another in California. Like, this is like the other side of the country, and this is for 10 days. Do you understand, and do you accept the terms and conditions of your Christmas vacation? And Ryder says yes. So listen, this is why I don't think it was that like a real like issue for them. I feel like it was already pre-negotiated, pre-approved. I don't see Cheyenne accepting this and like, setting the precedent that behaving this way is okay. If I were Cheyenne, I'd say absolutely not. Next time we talk about it, then you make arrangements, then you talk to the kid about it. Like, you do not freaking corner me this way. Absolutely not. Okay. So to the surprise of absolutely nobody, Sean cannot stand, what is this called? Homeschooling, if you can call it that. Chloe, right? We already know Sean and Jade, they are just so irate with this child at all times. And no offense, but I don't think they have the qualifications to be homeschooling anyone. And so they decided like to really, really put a move on putting her back in school, which I do think is in her best interest, just like it's in Sean's best interest. Now he can play his video games all day undisturbed. But good news for Bentley is that he actually this time around passed his permers. What is it called? Not the perm. His permit, his learner's permit, but he didn't really seem interested in filming about it. Again, I think these kids have outgrown the show and they just are not really interested in filming anymore. And they're a little bit maybe bashful or embarrassed about like their lives being broadcasted this way. Imagine your friends are watching and they're like, yeah, Bentley passed his permit. And then the next scene, when they go celebrate, they've got your like, your delinquent dad. No, what is this called? Your criminal dad. And then his equally criminal girlfriend with that trashy tattoo. That's Bentley. You see him in the reflection with the red jersey. And she's got that filthy tattoo staring back at him with that vulgar pose. Like, like I could see why he's not really like keen on this show anymore, right? And this was, by the way, they all went out there to watch him play baseball. Now, listen, I really don't like Leah's sister, Victoria. Like, she's such a troublemaker. She's always bringing mess to Leah's front doorstep. Leah had a very like strong, strict boundary set with her father. And then she went and she's like, oh, well, I've got him at my house. I'm going to take care of him, like blah, blah, blah. But I need you to talk to him. And now guess what? Victoria can't actually take care of their father because Victoria does not have the money to take care of their father. Victoria has all these kids. She's in this 90-day fiance situation. I don't know if her husband works or not. So she doesn't have the real money for the care that the father needs. So what does she do? She palms him off on Leah, who already had strict boundaries in place and didn't want any part of this mess. But at this point, because he did complete his detox, Leah does accept to help with the rehab. So basically, insurance companies were not accepting the insurance that he had, and so it has to be paid out of pocket. So that's where the Bank of Leah comes in. But here's my thing. Listen, I know that these girls make money on the show and everything like that, but Leah, she went to work as a waitress, okay, you guys, because she was having troubles making ends meet. So how do you go from that to financing your dad's rehab stint? Someone please let me know, because that really is a genuine question. I was like, okay, like I get that, he needs this and everything like that, but is there money in the budget for this with the way that Leah is currently working as a waitress? It just didn't make any sense to me, but I digress. So we see we see her driving him to the rehab facility that she has paid for. And they talk about like him and kind of like his shortcomings and his issues and stuff like that and everything like that. And so Leah finally, I think this is the first time ever on the show, correct me if I'm wrong, but she acknowledges that she went to rehab. When they show the flashbacks and everything like that, she kept on calling it like therapy. Like she was out here nodding off like this. She almost dropped this beautiful, precious Gerber baby. And she was talking about, no, I just going to therapy to like be a better mom. Girl, you were going to rehab and that's okay. You know, some people need to go to rehab to be better moms. You know, some people unfortunately develop substance addictions, right? So she gave a monologue about how she had to go to rehab to be a great mom for her kids. It was hard, but it was the best thing that she could do for them at the time, which is all very true. And then she basically, like, she doesn't acknowledge that she was like, you know, abusing any kind of all sorts of opiates or whatever. All she said was that, like, you know, she was just hooked on things that she was prescribed to, which is not true to the best of my knowledge. That's what started it, but then she wanted to get high off of, you know, other things as well. And so her dad kind of low key calls her out on it. He's like, yeah, and I feel guilty that I was like doing, you know, these drugs with you. And then look at her face. She's like, how dare you interrupt my monologue and like contradict what I just said? I said that I was out here, you know, hooked on things that doctors gave me, and now you've just blown the lid off of it and said that we were doing all sorts of things together, right? So voila, this is what I mean when I say she's just so inauthentic. These are times and opportunities to be real, true, honest, and she just will always try to make herself look as good as possible, as polished as possible. And I don't love that, to be honest with you. Next up, in Tennessee again, Bentley decides to take on his first post-permit drive. Listen, I would be terrified of learning to drive on a car this high up, this big. I started driving on a Hyundai Elantra. Okay, it's nice, it's small, it's close to the ground, right? And then even getting into an SUV and driving that scared the heck out of me. So I can imagine starting this way. Like this is major. Kudos to Bentley for being able to do this at 15. Honestly, I don't think I would be able to at my age, y'all, at my big old age. In fact, I actually don't even like feel safe or comfortable driving anymore because it's been 4 years since I've driven consistently. So this brought back all the feels. I remember going through this with my older sister and everything like that. It's amazing that Macy has a teenager that she is teaching to drive at this point. Like, it's just, where does the time go? Whew, they really, truly grow so fast. Meanwhile, in Florida, Brittany invites Roxane over to the house. Not Brittany, Briana does. And Brittany is there, of course, as well. She decides to break the no contact in order to really discuss what is going on here. And I thought that was really brave of her. And well, when they confront Roxane about her issues and her behavior, Roxane goes straight into listing all of her excuses. You see those fingers she's counting? Those are fingers filled with excuses. And Brittany is just not with it. She's like, you know what? Like, F this stuff, you know, because Roxane's like, you know, menopause. I've got my own trauma. I used to shoot heroining into my dad's arm. And then Brittany's like, well, what about the trauma that you're putting on us? That's trauma that we can't come back from, you know? And it is true. Like, you don't get to come up here and play victim. Like, you're not also traumatizing your kids. Janelle is another great example of this. She's always crying about what her mom did to her, this, that, and the other, but she never acknowledges the things that she's doing to her kids. And no offense, well, actually, take offense if you want to. You probably should. The stuff she's doing to her kids is a million times worse, especially what she's done to Jace there, right? So I was proud of Brittany for standing up for herself and like not allowing her mom to manipulate her way out of this conversation and out of taking accountability. But of course, Roxane, per usual, she plays the victim. Like she does this whole dramatic storming out situation because she just could not handle like owning up to what she's done to her own daughters. Whew. Anyway, back in LA again, from Sunshine State to Sunshine State, I tell ya. And again, I'm still so jealous of all the sun these people get. Cheyenne tells Corey that she is indeed okay with Ryder going off to Michigan with him and his family for the next 10 days. And listen, again, I feel like this was all worked out before filming because it's too easy. Like there were no real tears or anything like that about it. And it's a really big decision at the end of the day. And I mean tears on either of their ends. You know, grateful tears from Corey and sad tears from Cheyenne. So Roxane comes back from her little dramatic break and she tells Brittany and Briana, well, actually she shows them, it's a show and tell. She shows off a case of methadone, you guys. And I said methadone. Is that like meth? Is that what like meth is short for? Methadone? Listen, y'all, I don't hang out in the streets like that to be knowing these things, right? So I went on the internet. There's a certain website, Google. I went there and I looked up methadone. Like, what is it used for? And they said that it is an opioid medication used to treat severe pain and opioid addiction. When used to treat severe pain, methadone is available as a tablet or oral solution. When used to treat opioid addiction, methadone usually comes in the form of fruit-flavored drink. The powder is dissolved and taken orally once a day. So I don't remember what that briefcase looked like, to be honest with you guys. Can you let me know in the comments which one it was? Like, I feel like this was probably something to treat pain then because, you know, she could have just brought her little Gatorade if it was a fruit-flavored drink, right? You know, I'm thinking that this was for pain. And so maybe she'll talk about what pain it is. Is it the pain of menopause? Is it normal to have that much pain that you're taking methadone? I don't know. I am but a 30-year-old tenderoni. Joking, but still, I really don't know. Let me know what you guys know about that. I'll have to do some research afterwards, but listen, I don't have that much time to be doing the research on it. I'll have to look at it tomorrow because it's time to go out. I want to see them shoulders bouncing and celebrate World Music Day. Guys, have a great, great day. I'll see you in my next video. Don't forget, I do watch Teen Mom Next Chapter. I watch the Gypsy Rose Blanchard reality show and so many other shows using Philo. I've got an affiliate link if you would like to sign up for a free trial to watch these shows as well. Okay, you guys, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget, you can sign up for my channel membership by going to youtube.com/gracesupport/join or hitting the join button down below to get some behind the scenes tea on, you know, just daily life and whatnot and how I'm going to celebrate Fête de la Musique aujourd'hui. Okay, take care, you guys. Bye.